Hello everyone, Andrew Knight here from RICS. I sit within the Standards Regulatory and Thought Leadership part of RICS, and I lead up the RICS Tech Partner Program. And I'm really happy today to have Keith Ryan of ScanQuo with us, one of our tech partners, to talk about his business and the area that he's helping within the built environment. So without further ado, I'd like to hand across to Keith and get into give us a bit of background on ScanQuo, his background, what it does, why they set it up, the kind of problems they're addressing, and the kind of people they're going to help. So very glad to have you on the call, Keith, and please give us all that background. It'd be great to hear how you've come to where you are at ScanQuo.
Yeah, fantastic, Andrew, and thanks for the opportunity through RICS as well, being able to demonstrate what we're trying to revolutionize and what we are going to revolutionize within the cleaning industry. But before we get into that, I think it's very important from a listener viewer perspective, my background within the cleaning industry, because that's been predominantly all my life. And my first job, I started off whilst I was in school as a morning cleaning janitor, stripping and sealing floors within supermarkets and shopping centres whilst I was working. And having gotten my education second level, cleaning stuck with me. So fast forwarding into roughly about 7 years ago, my background experience in cleaning has predominantly been operations based, both at a regional operations level and at a national level. And also I was business owner with national contracts for my own business for 9 years as well. And in between having my own national business, I also did a lot of time and motion cleaning studies. And going back 7 years ago, I did become very disillusioned with the industry in terms of how contracts were always being priced. And it's pretty much very unscientific, and kind of at its most scientific, it's done from floor plans, discounted by an average of non-operational space and not factoring in all of each specific building's DNA to accurately price a contract. And it's pretty much the industry, it is unsexy and unglamorous as it is. It's a huge industry globally. It's 212 billion market cap. So, it's very exciting for us. The brainchild has been how, in all of these old time and motion studies, or not old, but previous time and motion studies that I've done, how can we bring the science and automation into that piece? Because a time and motion cleaning study, Andrew, is basically a measurement and a cleaning algorithm for every task, whether it's a table or a floor surface or a different type of floor surface. It's a visual and manual process by a person doing it. So my brainchild is to understand what technology could we bring to bear that is existing in the marketplace to automate that whole process and bring the science to it. So I understood from those tripod scanning cameras that you would see on building sites, could they be brought internally to digitally map out the twin? And then from there, could we link my cleaning algorithms and proven algorithms that are done across many different sectors? Could we automate that process? And could we then, machine learning and AI, could we teach it to identify the total number of objects in terms of desks, tables, chairs, sinks, toilet bowls, urinals, and so forth, and then link it to a frequency to then give it a service level. And within our platform that we're developing, it's through basic service level, optimal service level, or premium service level. So giving the client the choice. So typically contracts that would normally take months to price, with downloading the links into our platform when it's fully built at the end of the year, we will have the results that would be months to minutes. So it's really exciting, because we've done a huge amount of machine learning and programming into the platform. So we will be going live. We are at beta and alpha stage testing of the platform with some really big global clients at the moment. So it is really exciting, both from the cleaning end perspective and the corporates. So the cleaning end will use it to retain business and also win new business, and the corporates then will be able to use our platform to keep their current service providers honest as well. So the cleaning is my domain industry experience, and we are in time, Andrew, of course, when we get additional funding. So if there's any potential investors out there listening, we are going to build out all other FM service level contract pricing benchmarking. So that's what we want to do in cleaning first and foremost, is to become the first ever global benchmarking technology provider that the cleaning companies can use. So bringing the science, accuracy and transparency and visibility, that's what we're looking to bring to the industry, which is exciting for us. And it's so amazing, isn't it, right? In this day and age, there isn't a scientific way to price a cleaning contract. And going into the other service modules that we want to build out, that is in painting and decorating,
Yeah.
because we will know from a scan, because of the accuracy of the size of the walls, so we can quickly identify how much paint it will need, how much time the painter will need, and put the overhead costs into it as well. So that's one, painting and decorating, workspace utilization, mechanical and electrical, HVAC, because we have all of the data from one scan. So that's what we're looking to do and achieve in the industry. So I hope I haven't given too much of a long-winded introduction.
No, that's fine. That's fine. And Keith, I know it's a bit of a cliche now to introduce, unfortunately, COVID into so many conversations. But what has that done to affect the kind of imperatives around cleaning, or the way corporate occupiers and FM firms are looking at the whole issue of cleaning now?
That's right. It's a great question, Andrew, because I do believe this has shone, and indirectly, in a great way, has shone a bright light on cleaning, in that, a lot of people always saw it as a nice to have, but now it's deemed, due to COVID, as an essential to have. And because of COVID is a unique pandemic per se, in terms of bacterial hygiene, protocols are now essential to understand what is a clean, healthy and sustainable building for them. And because of COVID is new as well, there has never been exacting protocols on COVID assessments. But what we can do, and have already done for our clients, is identify sanitization protocols or touch points throughout the day in cleaning for all sector type environments. So those touch point cleanings are handles, door frames and things like that, that previously would have never been done. And of course, the given standard, I think, is acceptable for a sanitization protocol globally is between 1 and 2 hours to re-sanitize as well, because having the full end-to-end. And I know there's different type of sanitizers out there that will give coverage for days and weeks, but just having the visual presence as well that employees would like to see is also an important factor in there as well. So and in terms of COVID for ScanQuo and our development and our roadmap, we recently, 9 months ago, we won a COVID innovation grant for 215,000 from Innovate UK, the British government, to put those protocols in place. So from the click of a button within our platform, when we're presenting the results to our clients, it's live and interactive. You can actually tick off sanitization protocols that the client may or may not want as well. And it's actually the same for the cleaning tasks and the frequencies of them within our benchmark that we provide as well. So really, really exciting times.
So, I mean, do you think, it's obviously being debated a lot in terms of various organizations encouraging their staff back in, and that whole kind of, I guess, almost sort of trust and comfort level that people are going to feel moving back into a workplace. What do you see in terms of the ability to kind of report and reassure workplace? Because I think we're all familiar, dare I say it, with going into a corporate washroom and there's a sort of slightly scribbled bit of paper on the wall saying last checked by cleaning person when. Do you think we're going to see a real revolution in the kind of openness that the building operators will be giving to their staff to say, look, this is what's happening now in our building. This is how you can see visibly that actually we are fulfilling those protocols, that we are actually delivering on that kind of promise, and that people can have that confidence to enter a washroom and touch a door handle and do all those things that pre-COVID we were so used to doing.
Yeah, Exactly, and that's through our platform. That's exactly what we'll be able to demonstrate, and very quickly through automation. It's not a manual process of someone having to go to site and make a lot of notes either on a clipboard chart or an Excel sheet to then put that program in place. Because when we do the scan, when we're benchmarking the service levels, it can factor in the touch points in ticking off the boxes for the sanitization protocols. So yes, it is extremely important that you're able to demonstrate to your employees that these are the programs and regimes that are now in place to give them that reassurance that yeah, their best interests are being served.
And I suppose that there's perhaps a sad irony that one of the things that will come out of this is ironically a much better control of norovirus and indeed influenza and colds. That if these kind of cleaning protocols come in, we could hopefully see much healthier buildings anyway. As I say, it's a sad outcome of a hugely significant event, but I would guess that these levels of sanitization should improve the general barriers to transmission of so many viruses and bacterial infections.
Yeah, because it's for the whole industry globally, it's going to shed a new light on actually how they factor those protocols in, and even from the first initial contract pricing stage of either retendering or tendering, a new microscope is being put on those service levels, not only from the COVID's perspective, but actually the general cleaning specifications of the service level within the contract also as well. And that has been the whole process why we set up ScanQuo, and it's basically that name where it derived from as well, Andrew, was we scan and we quote ScanQuo. So we quote and provide the benchmark in that. And contract cleaning has always been a little bit finger in the air stuff. We are wanting to remove all of that to give the exacting service levels, both from a day-to-day cleaning perspective and then to factor in the COVID assessments on top of that as well. And of course, understanding what the global accepted protocols are for the sanitization touch points, 1 to 2 hours per day. Sorry, we can start again on that one. 1 to 2 touch point cleans per 1 to 2 hours on that will suffice.
Good. No, and I suppose once again, hopefully in terms of good things that have come out of this crisis is that actually, the cleaning protocols, the cleaning of buildings across all asset types will hopefully be seen as having the importance that it always should have done, I suppose, ironically, in terms of cleanliness. So I guess moving on to the kind of technology side of things, you've obviously talked about the use of algorithms and machine learning. I'm also keen to understand from either a kind of digital twin BIM perspective or for assets that don't have that and need some kind of scanning technology, what kind of data points can you work with? So what kind of technology would a building owner have to use with you or provide to you for you to be able to produce these quotes, whether it's floor plans, a 360 camera or a BIM model? What can you work with, and what kind of technology are you leveraging to make all this happen?
That is genuinely a great question again, because we're not just beholden to using scanning technology, because we know there is a slight barrier at the moment with the amount of time that it takes to scan buildings, and then there are some building owners and contract managers that don't want data to be scanned internals of some sensitive buildings, which is completely fine. So within our platform, we're doing it through 3 levels. The Rolls Royce, as we see it, is the scan of the most granular and detail of us factoring in everything, like from a computer mouse, keyboard, the PC monitors and so forth, everything down to its small minutiae. So if we do have any barrier, as you might say, from some of our clients, we can produce benchmark results either from CAD or BIM files as well. So we've programmed it from scanning to CAD and BIM, and at basic entry level as well, we've done it from floor plans. But floor plans is the very basic entry, and there's a cost point to each of those in producing benchmark results as well. And from floor plans, it is basic because it only has the most basic of information, and so out of date are some floor plans as well that could be 10 years old. So it could be slightly irrelevant if they're 10 years old. The building fabric could have significantly changed within those 10 years as well. So we are and have factored to incorporate all the technological enablements that we need to be able to benchmark from those 3 different sources, from the floor plans, CAD or BIM, and of course scan as well, because when you do a scan, Andrew, it is the most up to date, because everything that you capture within the digital twin of the building is real and present now as well. But moving forward into some of the challenges that the scanning devices did have with the tripod in the past, very quickly you do now have new technology of handheld devices coming to market. It's not quite there yet in terms of being able to walk around with them and capturing the data, both from a picture viewpoint and a 3D viewpoint. Some of them are not there, but there is one camera that is really, really exciting, that does all of the above. But it is a little bit geeky in terms of you have to put a little bit of a frame around you,
Right.
but I do believe it'll get there in the next 12 months to 2 years in terms of scanning technology. And then I also believe within the next 3 to 4 years, I mean, mobile phone technology cannot get more advanced as it is, but the holy grail is from mobile phone providers technology is the power enablement of cameras, which is going to be ever evolving over the next few years. And I actually do believe with our platform, we will be able to make it mass market appeal, and to be able to gain an accuracy within a recording that we can link into the platform that they can download to get the benchmark results. And when that happens, it's going to be even more exciting than it already is.
Exactly. Yeah, I mean, because it's certainly always an issue we have to be honest about, that clearly a lot of new developments have been models from day one, but even new developments aren't always being BIMmed in that way to provide that digital twin. And it's always, I think, important for the market to have that kind of plan B of being able to look at existing assets, because let's face it, I don't know what the percentages would be, but a huge percentage of buildings do not have a BIM model. Therefore, we are reliant upon floor plans and then scanning technology to fill that gap, to almost retrofit that we want to get that kind of visual digital twin, as it were. So in terms of that kind of, I think you used the phrase Rolls-Royce approach, how does the process work in terms of identifying objects? You've talked about, down to the level of computer mice and whatever. What's that granularity? How can the machine learning, which I presume is what's doing, I presume it's identify things. So can you talk us through how that kind of process works when you've got that real level of granularity?
That's right, and a lot of that is programming, computer programming, and having our internal computer programmers machine learning those objects, basically. And that process is fairly extensive. Even to machine learn one object, it takes a matter of some objects could take a day to 2 days to fully train and recognize it, because you need a series, and it can be up to 300 images to accurately machine train that object. But from the scan, then once we have it machine learned and created the code to link it into the scan data, it will auto count and recognize that object as well. Yeah, if you can imagine, then if you have only one object, like a keyboard, for example, you have that done, then you'd go onto a PC monitor, desks, phones, partitions between desks, and so forth. The type of floors as well, whether it's wooden, marble, linoleum, identifying what that surface is and linking it to a different algorithm, because there's different timings attached to whether you're hoovering a carpet or hoovering a marble floor, right? So all of that combined in, Andrew, to fully automate the process and have the science behind it and have those cool 3D visuals on top of that as well. It's so exciting. And just on the machine learning side of things as well within our platform, what I haven't mentioned yet is, even though we have the cleaning algorithms and the object recognition, we have also conquered, and it's taken a few months, and we've such an amazing, talented team of developers, is we've auto-identified in a building through the technologies how many floors is in that building and how many rooms is in each floor. And to tag onto that also as well, it's the actual measurement of each of the floor spaces as well. So the floor spaces, and actually we were factoring in the void space within each floor space.
Yeah.
And on top of that, we're factoring in the fixed furniture space. So in giving some clarity to what I'm saying is, we recently done a project for a client where we identified from the scanning with the machine learning and the programming we've done. So when you're pricing a contract, typically as a BDM or a sales director for a cleaning company, you will discount 15, 20, 25% maximum on non-operational space. Our scan identified between void space, fixed furniture space, and other void space between walls of 32%, okay? And like 32%. So just say, for example, if the building was 60,000 square feet, that 32% is now 39,600 square feet. So you are going in as a cleaning contractor on a hugely significant competitive advantage, because if you just say you are going in against a competitor that is discounting as an average of 20%, with you as a cleaning company then as a competitor having the scan data done, you're telling the potential client as actually 32% in there. So for a high volume, low margin business, like between typically 3 to 5% margins on contracts, when you're coming in at a 12% difference, it is hugely significant. And that is even before we start factoring in all the level of granularity specific to each DNA buildings in there as well. And to further tag onto that as well, Andrew, you know, within our benchmark is we are factoring in the cleaning times, we're factoring in the walk time between cleaning tasks as well for every operative. So that is another global first. And the third part of that as well is we're factoring in the setup and the finish time for the operatives as well. So 10 minutes for setup and 5 minutes to finish off as well. So even if I had to just show you one visual on the walk times between cleaning tasks. So what you're seeing is this floor plan of a building for a client we've done, and we've kept it on a like-for-like basis in terms of all of the rooms that they have named in this building. So in terms of the walking time, what you have here is a floor plan of a scan we've done for a client, and all of the rooms have been kept in line with the names of what they are, where they are within this floor plan for the client. And we've broken it down in terms of room by room to give a cleaning specification when you click on any of these. But just to get back to the walking time, as I was saying, is we know on this floor it takes 6 operatives, and they have a zonal color code area for each of their tasks of the area of where they work. So in getting back to the point and just factoring in the walking time between cleaning tasks, what you're seeing here is the cleaning cupboard is in this area of the floor here. And each of the 6 operatives are going to walk on a systemized and systematic approach to how they do their cleaning tasks within each of the floors. So if I just play this on, you will see, clearly understand each of how the operatives, where they work and how they work in terms of the flow process of how they complete their tasks as well. So within this project we did for this client, it was over 2 floors, and we recognized that the amount of walking time between the 12 operatives over the 2 floors was 1 hour and 42 minutes per day. So you can see on this floor the total amount of walk feet is 43 minutes, just over 43 minutes. So when we factor over the other floor, it's just under 1 hour. So that's giving the total cleaning time, as I said, of 1 hour and 42 minutes. And typically, Andrew, this could be the tipping point for some cleaning companies having a contract profitable or not, such as the low margins in the business as well. So you can imagine, you know, a potential cleaning company bringing this type of information and granularity to the clients. For us in ScanQuo, it's a no-brainer why the cleaning industry shouldn't be embracing this and bringing it forward into, you know, not jumping on, but joining the revolution in bringing credibility and science into our industry that we love so much. So that's just an insight into the walk times between cleaning tasks that we're demonstrating on our country.
Yeah, I mean, I suppose that there's a couple of things that come to mind from what you've just shared with us. I suppose one is the fact that by using that training data approach, you can obviously deal with different kinds of rooms, cafeterias within the asset, and presumably also train on different asset types, so that the approach can be extended to different kinds of buildings in terms of their use. And I suppose just as you've finished your last piece there, I'm minded to ask why you think perhaps FM, both cleaning and more generally in terms of FM, hasn't really taken on data and tech as much as it clearly should do in terms of the benefits for both, vendors and users. So why do you think they haven't taken on it, and what do you think the future looks like given the kind of things you're working on?
Yeah, yeah. The cleaning industry typically is very slow to embrace, in my experience. In fact, I've been in it all my life. Even new cleaning products are slow to embrace them, and the fact that technology is, coming to the fore. Genuinely, there is a shift now happening in the cleaning industry. Does want and is needing to embrace new technology. And the first part of that is the robotics inclusions now for robotic vacuuming and machine cleaning as well, which is so fantastic to see. But next is the element we believe in terms of the contract pricing, which is the key fundamental in all of this. And, for the wider FM industry as well, as why haven't they really embraced it? Well, I don't think it's been giving what would you say, the right technical tools, or and now you say, I'm not a visionary, but a guy that just believes there's got to be a better way to automate and price things right, rather than the old averages that are and still existing, that are still going to be around for another while. But at least we believe what we're doing is a massive step forward. But bringing over to the asset tracking piece as well, in terms of asset registries within building, you can see as well, Andrew, if we have the data of the scan, it is quite easily for us to, the fact that we know how many desks, tables, and chairs, we then put the type of asset to it as well, the serial number, the value of it, and then have an open API, whereas that client can download a full asset registry to their buildings. And it's so funny and interesting, a lot of corporate companies globally don't even have an proper asset tracking registry. So the potential of scanning and the whole forward movement of bringing technology and innovation is here, and it's only going to get ever more increasing. So we've been working with some clients who loved it, but yet are very, very slow to move forward and embrace it and look for the problem rather than the solution. And of course, we are early stage and we're not fully there yet, but it's so exciting because any challenges we've come up with, we now have solved. And just getting back to the 3D scanning technology side of things as well, Cushman and Wakefield 12 months or so ago signed a global deal with Matterport scanning cameras to scan a lot of their buildings globally for commercial purposes, for either lets or relets, and then on other small functionalities around it. So although it's not there yet on a global level in terms of amount of scans, I do believe in a couple of years, contract cleaning companies will be given the scan link and say, okay, go off and price from that, right? Whereas now it's just from the floor plans. And if cleaning companies are forward thinking, they will start to embrace, okay, that's not here yet. How do we start planning for this when it does come? Because if they wait till they get the link, they're going to be left behind, right?
Indeed. Now, and you mentioned earlier that perhaps painting and decorating was the next area you would look at. What other kind of areas of the FM cycle are you thinking that you can apply this kind of approach to?
Yeah, so the cleaning module will be done at the end of the year, and we are developing an MVP for the asset tracking, which is the second module at the moment. The third one after that will be HVAC.
All right, okay.
HVAC. So what are the life cycle cost and servicing of that HVAC unit? So we identify what the HVAC unit is, first of all, what the service history, where it's currently at, what's the left of the remaining service history of it to go, what is the cost of each service, and what are the parts to be brought. and what is the level of qualification of that engineer that needs to come as well to deliver an accurate and sustainable model. Because for anyone listening in the cleaning and FM industry, how many times have we experienced engineers coming to site that are not properly equipped to get the job done? They tag on the site visit cost of it, and they're able to factor in another one to come back with the right parts the next time. So this is what we
I think we all experienced that in our home lives. A number of times I've had a washing machine repairman come and have a look at it, despite the fact we've told them what's wrong with it. They come and said, "Oh, I need to get the parts." And you think, well, could you not have brought the parts with you?
And you know too, and you're so right. It's funny to say, but it's actual fact. And you know, as we know, my industry is cleaning expertise, but we do have and are set up for success with a global C-level board, and we have industry experts that are globally recognized in and for what they do and the achievements they've done. So there's one particular guy who's M&E, and I won't mention his name because I know he likes to keep himself private, but he's on the M&E side of things, and he was the first man in the UK in 1984 to design, build, and install the first BMS system. So we have some amazing people on our team that when if needed, we call in that expertise to validate actually the benchmark and other industry experts alongside that person who is equally qualified to test and then roll out that benchmark for all of these other service levels as well.
Well, that's great, Keith. It's been great to talk, and as we both know, you know, the digital twin, as called, that visual kind of asset register and information on a building has the opportunity to revolutionise the whole building life cycle, doesn't it? And I'm really looking forward to having our next conversation and seeing how you're progressing and catching up with you soon. So thank you very much. It's been a great conversation. I look forward to catching up soon, Keith.